banner in the NAI National Tournament here in Municipal in Kansas City. Anyando going to jump it up. Actually, they go with Donovan Brown. We said they were going to start Guans, but they start Brown at the 4 instead of Guans, as Coach Happy Osborne changing up his lineup from the last game. Ready for the toss, as it will be controlled by Trevecca. Elliott going to work it across midcourt. Picked up by Turner. Looks to dump it inside to Anyando. Not there. Now going to get to Helton up high. He'll work with the dribble. Bounces it right. Works inside the wing. Dumps baseline to Harris. He's going to penetrate. Kicks it cross court to Helton. Baseline 3 in the air. Nope. Skips off the rim. Rebound Anyando. Lost it. Got it back. Going to kick it back out. And Trevecca going to have another opportunity at it. Harris off to Elliott. Spots for a 3. And Trevecca in front early. 3-0.
We talk about what a good shooting team they are, and that's a prime example. If they get an outside look, all their guys can knock it down.
Turner works just right of the key inside the hash. Now going to bring it back on the wing to Taylor. They bring Donovan Brown up high, and he swings it left. First time for Gus Chase touching it. Kicks it back out. Graham for a 3, and he's got it. Dueling threes early on, and we're tied at the 19-minute mark. Georgetown trademark full court man pressure as Elliott works it across under the heavy defensive burden of Jerry Turner, and they're going to get Turner for the hand check and the foul, and I think that's a key. Trans-South teams typically a little less physical, more finesse. Mid-South teams typically a lot more physical, especially on the ball, and this could get Georgetown in trouble if they call that little hand check.
It could. Turner has to adjust the way the officials are going to call this game.
As Elliott back with it in his hands, going to swing it right to Helton. Bluffs, going to drive inside to Anyando. Puts it up, nope, too hard. And off with it comes Graham. Down the floor to Turner. Trevecca playing man early on. I don't think you can zone Georgetown. They're too good a shooting team. Dumps baseline to Turner. Now going to give it up high, now swing it left. Dumps it inside to Chase. He's going to kick it cross court to Graham. Goes baseline. He's going to penetrate. Kicks it back now to Brown in the short corner. Baseline Graham from the opposite wing, and that one rattles out. Rebound tipped out, and they're going to get Donovan Brown for a foul.
Well, that time when Chase caught it on the post, Trevecca came with the double, and it wasn't a great skip pass to the opposite side. Last time they made a good skip pass. Graham got the open shot. This time it was a poor pass. He doesn't get it off. Trevecca keeps him from scoring.
18 minutes left to go. Elliott with it. Back to Helton. Bluff the 3. Going to use the ball screen up high. Swings it right to Elliott. They pitch back across now to Dixon, and another hand check and a foul.
Well, he bodied him up, cutting him going baseline. If they're going to call it tight like that, then it really plays in Trevecca's favor, because Georgetown really likes the physicality, and it plays into their athleticism.
Demetrius Guan's into the game, as out will go Donovan Brown. Elliott works it baseline to Helton. Going to bounce it up high to Anyando. Dribbles up some slack. Now deep right corner. That's Dixon. Back to Anyando, working against Gus Chase. Ball knocked loose, and Guan's with it on the run. Georgetown with numbers. Going to go to the bucket strong, and Graham has it knocked out of his hands, out of bounds, and it will remain Tiger basketball, 3 apiece.
Well, interesting substitution there by Coach Happy Osborne. Going to Guans, who gives him really a 4-guard look now. They match up much better on the perimeter.
I was a little surprised he started Donovan Brown.
Especially Trevecca likes to play a 4-guard lineup with one real forward, not a true center in the game.
That's right. Has Trevecca gone zone now?
They have. They're showing a little 2-3 look here.
Graham gives up high to Turner. Going to look deep right corner and gives it off to Graham. He'll use the dribble up high to Guans. He gets an open look at it from 3, and he's got it. 6-3. Georgetown in front. If they're going to zone, they got to do a better job of recovering.
They do. Not a quick rotation. They're waiting till the pass is made, and then they got to go with his balls in the air.
Helton lost the ball, and down with it comes Chase. He's going to give it back to Turner, and that's the second straight steal for Gus Chase. As Turner walks slowly, and Trevecca's gone back man on this trip. Chase going to flip it to Guans. Now dumps it in the paint to Chase, and they're going to call him for the travel. 16:54 left. Georgetown leads by 3. Not been a basket made yet inside the arc by either team. Into Anyando. back to Elliott, and Trevecca again going to be very patient offensively. Don't really slow it down. They just look for a good look. That's why they shoot 54% from the floor. They dump it on a wing left to Helton. Back to Harris. Up high. Dixon, a three, and it's there. 6 apiece. 16 and a half now left to go in the first half. As he's going to walk it across. Gives it to Guans. Demetrius Guans with the dribble inside the arc. Now he's going to retreat a bit and give it back to Taylor in the paint. Graham, and he's going to be fouled going to the basket. He'll have 2. I think Georgetown, the beauty of them is I think they can play about any style you want. They're good in the half court. They can post up chase. If you go zone, they've got some guys who can shoot it as well. They can pressure you and get it into an up-tempo game. I think they're really a multifaceted team.
They're really flexible in what they do. You know, we've seen people try to slow them down. They can still play a grinded-out game that sometimes happens in the Mid-South, or they can go up and down. You know, very flexible in their personnel and in the way they play.
16-12 left to go. 7-6 is our score. And out of the game going to go Jerry Turner. In for him comes Marlon Mahorn.
Really, Emmanuel threw that zone look at Georgetown, gave them some problems in that first half. They didn't shoot the ball well. So far, they've handled a couple trips of zone really good.
Graham hit them both, and it's an 8-6 Tiger advantage. They come with a little three-quarters court pressure. Helton beats it to Harris on a wing, going to skip it cross court to Dixon, uses the dribble. He's going to skip it back now to Harris. Looks in the paint for Anyando, goes up with it and lays it in. Great job of getting the ball in midair and going to the basket.
Well, he sealed on the ball reversal and had Gus right there on his back.
Mahorn backs it out to Taylor, right side to Graham. Doubling up on chasing the post, denying the ball. Then they're going to give baseline Mahorn, 3 in the air. Nope, clangs off back iron, and the rebound grabbed by Trevecca. Might not have been a good short shot by Mahorn. Quickly into the game, and he took first available.
He's shooting 22% from the three-point line, and that's the chance they're going to take. They're going to double off of him and then make him make that shot.
Well, the entry to Anyando sails out, and it will be Tiger basketball. As Taylor going to dribble it for the Tigers. 15-19 left, 8 apiece. Swings it right to Guans. Guarded by Dixon, pulls up for the 3 over the top. Nope, will not go. Rebound grab by Taylor, and he stuck it in. 10-8.
Used his physicalness that time just to push the defender out of the way and get the offensive board that time.
Elliott walks slowly for Trevecca. Up high to Dixon. Guans works him defensively. Now back, the ball deflected out of bounds, and it will remain Georgetown basketball. Or excuse me, Trevecca basketball.
Mahorn getting out in the passing lane that time. Really pushing Trevecca out on the floor. And that's the pressure. It just wears on you. And sooner or later, they're going to pick one off and go the other way.
Helton gives back to Elliott, who's now going to clear it across midcourt. Mahorn defends off to Helton, his first 3 of the day, and it's there. 11-10. Trevecca back in front by a point as this thing is seesawed back and forth through the first 5.5 minutes.
Well, Helton really used his screen that time. He didn't get open the first time, so he circled back around, lost the defender to get open for the shot.
Guans left key. Now back to Taylor. They're back in a zone now. Going to lob it back door. It was not a good pass. Picked off. Here's Harris with it on the run. He's going to work it down the lane, get to the block, spin, kick back out. Now baseline. The jumper in the air by Elliott is there, and it's 14-10, a 4-point Trevecca advantage. Timeout taken by Georgetown. It's a 30. We'll take 1 too, though, and be back.
Ten, 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Well, the Tigers trailing early, 14-10. Top seed in the tournament, undefeated on the season. Mahorn just right of the key. Up high to Taylor. They swing it further left now to Graham. Looking to find a way into the zone as he kicks back right to Mahorn's already missed 1-3 today. Back up high to Graham. Penetrates inside the arc to the basket, and they're going to call him for the travel. Still a good idea, though, trying to get it in the middle of that zone.
It is. They got to get it in there with the dribble or with the pass. But what I like what Trevecca's doing, unlike Emmanuel, they stayed with the zone a little too long. They're mixing it back and forth, and it's hard for the offense to find a rhythm.
Into Harris, has trouble handling, but finds Dixon with it. Now the pass down the floor to Elliott. He's going to go to the bucket and lay it in, and Trevecca up by 6.
That's the way you beat the pressure. They come up and deny, go over the top.
Mahorn, left of the key, baseline, Guans. He's going to go to the bucket with it, and they're going to call him for the charge. Wipe off the basket, and Trevecca's going to get it back.
And again, switching defensive looks. This time they come back man-to-man. Guans thinks he has the lane. The weak side rotation comes over, meets him outside the paint, draws the charge.
You know, it looks to me like that Georgetown doesn't really have a sense of urgency out there today. That maybe not sleepwalking, but they don't have the intensity and energy that you would expect.
Well, and we saw that in the first 2 games. They didn't come out and play like Georgetown that we've seen. And so they're going to have to find some purpose and some focus.
Elliott with it in his hands, 13.5 left, and Trevecca got to be feeling pretty good right now, up by 6. Georgetown playing man defensively. They're going to give backdoor to Helton. He can't handle out of bounds, and it will be Georgetown basketball.
Well, Georgetown's pressure right now is really making it hard to make the entry pass to the wing, so they try to hit the high post and get the back door to relieve some of that pressure, and mistimed it on the pass.
I think one of Happy Osborne's signatures is ball pressure defensively, and he applies it in a variety of different ways, but he's always pressuring the basketball. Gus Chase with the ball tipped out, and Nyando has the steal. And Trevecca, again, a chance to add to their advantage. Going to skip it across the zone. That's Harris with the deep left corner, looks to drive. Pulls up just outside the lane and has to take a timeout to save the possession. 12:59 left. It's a 30. We'll keep it right here. Assess what's gone on early on. First of all, for the Tigers, what is adversely affecting them so far?
Well, they haven't come out with the purpose and the intensity that they needed to have to compete here. And that's allowing Trevecca, giving them a lot of confidence. You know, you want to come out fired up and almost have a knockout punch at the beginning if you can get that. Now, Trevecca, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're a very cerebral team. They're smart. They're not going to beat themselves. And if you give it an open shot, they're taking advantage of it and knocking it down.
And thus far, I think the mixture of defenses have kept Georgetown a bit off guard. Tigers have made some mental mistakes themselves, throwing the ball away, not taking good shots, and all of it is added up to a 6-point Trevecca advantage.
Well, you're exactly right. You look at the defensive looks that Trevecca's thrown. They've been man-to-man, then they've single-covered Gus on the post. They've doubled him, then they've zoned him. All that's gave to a great game plan so far by Trevecca.
Elliott looking to work it in. Does get it up high to Helton. Going to lob it down low, put up and in. Off the assist from Anyando. It's an 8-point Trevecca Nazarene advantage. Georgetown going to try and chip away now. Going to flip it back out to Saxton. That's Kyle Saxton in the game. To Turner. Drives left wing. Dumps it in the post to Donovan Brown. Going to use the dribble, spin back, fire it off the glass, and he banked it in.
Brown using his athleticism and his size that time just to create space and get the shot off on the block.
Elliott working against Turner. 6-point Trojan lead as Elliott gets to the basket, going to fire it up. It's blocked as Kyle Saxton just got his hand on the ball and would not allow Elliott to get it above his head.
Well, he came over and Kyle Saxton was in good help position, went straight up and able to tie him up.
Alternate possession arrow sends it in favor of the Tigers. Gus Chase going to get his first rest of the day, and Demetrius Guans comes back in. So you got Guans and Brown inside right now. Taylor, Turner, and Saxton on the perimeter. Subs in as well as DeJohn Everson in the game for Trevecca. He's in with Odura, Helton, Anyando, and Harris. Left side to Taylor. Now going to give it up high, bad pass, and actually sailed through the hands of Kyle Saxton, and Trevecca with another turnover, working it against the Tigers. As on the dribble, Everson gives it up high to Harris. The entry in the lane to Nyando. Now going to kick it back door to Everson, and he lays it up and in. Great job by Anyando of drawing the defense to him, then hitting the back cut.
Well, they caught in the back cut. Caught Taylor looking at the ball and not seeing his ball in the man, and back cut to the goal like you're supposed to.
20-12. Georgetown again down by 8 as Taylor just extended from the baseline. He's going to drive to the bucket, rejected by Anyando as Odor up with it, and Trevecca trying to make it the 4th straight upset of the day, although we've got a long way to go. A whistle away from the ball, and they're going to get an offensive foul against Anyando. He was in there battling with Donovan Brown, and they both went to the ground. Anyando called for the foul.
Well, he's trying to root him out of there and get low post position, and those two guys are going to battle all day. And very similar, having low, strong base down low and quick leapers, and we saw Anyando go up and get that shot. He's got 42 blocks on the year.
Turner going to walk it slowly. Gives it down now to Taylor. Gus Chase back in for the Tigers as Turner, a long 3 in the air, is going to be short, and the rebound grabbed away by Trevecca. Everson slowly across midcourt. Turner up to greet him. He's going to center it in the midcourt stripe. Bounces to Odor, has trouble handling, going to go out of bounds, but it was touched by Chase, and it will remain Trevecca basketball. Coach Happy Osborne not happy at all right now. He's going to take a timeout. We'll take 1-2 back in 30. You're listening to the Victory Sports Network on Jump TV.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
You know, I think that really not X's and O's that Coach Osborne talking about right now. He's talking about effort and intensity.
That's right, and that's something that you can control. You come out there, don't let anybody out-compete you, and that's what he's talking about right now.
Helton going to lob it across the floor for Harris, pulled down, and he gives back to Everson now. He's going to drive it right wing, guarded by Turner. Going to give up high to Helton. Looks to drive to Harris. A 3 in the air, and he, nope, will not go. Rebound to Trevecca. Another 3 put up. Nope, batted off the boards. And this time Anyando hauls down another offensive rebound. Baseline. Harris, the drive. Going to kick back to Helton. Uses the dribble. Fires the leaner up from 15. Rattles out. And finally, the Tigers pull off the rebound. As Guan's going to work it down the floor. Dribbles inside the arc. Going to pitch to Turner, who then relays it into Donovan Brown. They going to work it on the opposite block to Chase, and we're going to get a foul against Trevecca.
You know, that's a prime example of what you're talking about on the last trip down on the defensive end for Georgetown. 2 offensive rebounds in a row by Trevecca. You know, that just means that Trevecca's coming out and out, hustling out, working them right now.
Well, and then on the offensive end for Georgetown, Gus Chase getting no touches.
None at all. The zone and the mixture of looks has really been effective thus far.
Turner looking to work it in. He is going to get it into Chase, who has it rejected out of bounds, and it will remain Georgetown basketball as Harris goes flying into the bench, but he appears to be okay, and he'll stay in the game.
Well, that's the quickness of Anyando going up and be able to get it. And a lot of times Gus is going to get that off, but he's just such a quick leaper. He can get up and get that in a hurry.
Harris going to go to the bench, and Rick James comes in. Turner works against. Are they still in a zone? Nope, matching up man-to-man right now. Is Turner going to dump it back door? Guan's off the glass, missed the roll, but the putback's there. Donovan Brown. 2014, again a 6-point game. James with it on a wing. He's going to bounce back to Everson. Out to get him as Turner, as the Tigers been in man the entire game. Everson gets to the wing. Looks to the post, dumps it in on Anyando, gathers in a difficult pass and lays it in. 22-14, back to an 8-point game.
Well, that's how you get the pressure. If they're out there pressuring hard on the perimeter, back cut to the basket.
Brown, the cutter to Guan's off the glass, and it is 22-16.
Well, a nice job of feeding the post and then cutting to the basket. Brown found him wide open.
James again with the handle up high. Brown goes past the dribbler, forces him wide, as now they're going to pitch deep left corner Everson. Back to James for a 3. clings off the back of the rim, and the rebound grabbed by Guans. He's going to lead the transition for the Tiger as tries to dump it in, deflected out of there. Taylor able to save the ball, over the shoulder pass to Chase. His shot won't go, and then Brown can't claim the rebound. Everson with it on the run. It's 3-on-2. Trevecca recognizes, goes with the numbers. Odura can't hit the shot, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot two. Back to the other end, just sloppy play by the Tigers. You had the over-the-shoulder pass by Taylor. You got difficult decisions being made on the offensive end, and Georgetown just does not look sharp.
No, a lot of the passes they're trying to make, Trevecca's got active hands. They're getting deflections on those passes. They've got to come out and fake one and then make one, get it to go by him. Just really sloppy offensively, not a lot of execution.
Odura misses the first one. 22-16. This is a Tiger team that's averaging 93 points a game on the season. Held to 16 through the first 11.5 minutes of the first half of play. They struggled similarly in the first half of the Mid-South Conference Championship game and came out with renewed purpose after the half. Turner with the basketball after Trevecca missed them both. Brown with it up high. Skips deep right corner. Graham back to Turner. He's going to give to Guans. Tries to get it to Chase. Does at the free throw line. Gus Chase with the dribble down the lane. He's going to turn, fire, and he's got it. 22-18.
Well, that's where that wide body of his comes in handy, just to create space to get the shot off.
Such nice touch, too.
Very soft touch. That's why he shoots such a good percentage from the floor.
James defended by Guans. Going to work him right. Gets a ball screen as James, the defender, falls down. Going to pull up for a three. Nope, will not go. And Graham with the rebound. He's going to give it off to Turner. Long down the floor. Bad decision, but not made to pay for it as Odura couldn't come up with it cleanly. It'll remain Georgetown basketball. 7:46 left to go first half. 22-16. Winner of this game plays the winner of Point Loma Nazarene and Robert Morris. That one will be played next. Turner, top of the key. Going to shade it just right. Now gives it off to Guans. Baseline three. Nope. And Anyando with the rebound. Long outlet down the floor. Helton. He loses it. And Turner able to save it. Turner going to hurry the other way in transition. Trevecca's back, though. Dumps it on the block to Gus Chase. Into Brown. The turnaround deflected. And Anyando with the basketball. Here come the Trojans with it on the move. Down the floor, James. He's going to be fouled by Turner.
Well, Turner was reaching in and trying to get that ball and just drew too much contact with his body. Official had to make that call.
You know, again, back to the offensive end. Georgetown just not making good decisions. They got the ball deep and then couldn't go up with it cleanly.
No, and a credit a lot to Trevecca. They have really active hands right now. They're getting some blocks, they're getting some deflections, and it's really causing Georgetown some problems.
22-18 is our score. 7:13 left to go first half. Georgetown down to Trevecca by 4. And we've got a timeout. We will take one, too. You are listening to the Buffalo Funds Men's NAIA Division I Basketball National Championships.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
7:13 left to go in the first half, and Trevecca, an upset in the making, but they lob it over the top, and it's intercepted by David Graham. He's played well early for the Tigers. Graham drives, gives to Mahorn. Now in the paint to Chase, follows, but it will not go, and he'll go to the line and shoot two as he was fouled.
Georgetown very aggressive that time, using the dribble to penetrate into the defense, draw in two defenders. It doesn't matter if it's man-to-man or zone. The concept is the same. Get to you, kick it out to the open man, and then that creates an open shot.
I don't think there's any secret that for Georgetown to be successful on offense, the ball has to go through Gus Chase's hands.
He has, and he's got some touches here, but the shot blocking ability of the interior post for Trevecca, they can really get up there quick, and they've got a couple pieces on him. But he's going to get his. You just got to slow him down.
Chase hits his first, a 70% foul shooter. Taylor back into the game. Donovan Brown went out as number 2. Yep, got them both. 22-20. Trevecca's lead trimmed to 2. Rick James going to work it across midcourt. Guans applies pressure out on the floor as Georgetown playing man-to-man defensively. And Yondo tries to screen him off. Then the backdoor cut to Odur. He slams it through and a foul.
They have done such a good job of recognizing the overplay on the wings and on the perimeter and back cutting. That's at least the third basket they've got, or third attempt that they've made to release that pressure. Nice job, even going back to throwing over top of the full court pressure.
That's the first foul against Graham, and Odur to the line to try and complete the three-point play. Would push it out to a 5-point Trevecca advantage, and he does just that. 25-20, 6:47 left to go first half. Taylor works just left of the midcourt circle, nearly lost the ball. It is rolling loose, and it's going to be come up with by Elliott. Down to Helton. He's going to give the wraparound pass. The shot off the glass by James is good, and it is 27-20.
Well, that was a beautiful but odd pass because everybody thought he was going to throw the lob, including myself, and he kind of pushed it behind the defender and bounced it high for the trailer.
Trevecca leads by 7. Left baseline. That's Guans with it. Looks in, going to skip it up high to Graham. He's going to dribble down the floor, going to give it right baseline. Marlon Mahorn misses the 3. The putback won't go. And Taylor again sticks it back, but he's fouled this time, and he'll go to the line for 2. I think you go back to Mahorn. That's the second 3 he's taken. He's a 22% three-point shooter. You're down by 7. You got to get your best offensive players touches.
Well, I think that's what Coach Hype Osborne's going to call him over right now and talk to him about is, you know, that's not your shot. Come in, dribble up the slack, draw the defense. Let's get it inside Chase and let the offense get going.
So Taylor at the line. He's got 2 free throws, 60% from the charity stripe on the year. 6'3" senior guard for the Tigers. He hits his first one. Marcos Salvi in the game. 6'5" senior forward for Trevecca. He averages 8.5 points, a little better than 3 rebounds a game on the season. Taylor hits them both. Back to a 6-point game. 6:05 left to go. First half of play. As Trevecca handles the basketball, Elliott across midcourt. Looks right down the left side of the lane. Going to bring it back to Helton. Bluffs on the 3. Sidesteps, fires the 3, and give him the 3. 30-22. 5:51 left to go.
Is he going to take it away? Is he going to say he's on the line?
Going to say he was on the line. Just gave them a 2.
What a difficult shot by Helton. You know, got him up in the air, sidestepped, and still able to get the shot off.
29-22. 7-point lead again by Trevecca. Left side Guans. Into Chase. Back cut to the basket. Here's Graham off the glass, and he got it to go.
Well, now they're starting to get the ball into the heart of the defense down there where they can go to work.
James works out near the hash with it. Defended by Guans. Going to dump it in the paint, and we're going to get a foul against Taylor.
No, good duck in that time after the screen. He down screened and then reshaped up after the screen and ducked in and was able to catch it right in the middle of the paint.
That's Salvi to the line, where he is a 78% foul shooter on the year. Trevecca, a great game plan, executed almost perfectly thus far.
They have, and again, I like to say they're a very cerebral team. They don't beat themselves. They're a very smart team.
He missed the front end, and the rebound grabbed away by the Tigers. Turner with it down the floor to Mahorn. He's going to try to dump deep left corner. The ball deflected out of bounds. Odur couldn't save it, and it will remain Georgetown basketball.
But Georgetown's really good underneath out of bounds here. They like to get it down there, and they're very efficient in scoring.
Donovan Brown going to come into the game. Asked him to tuck in his shirt first. And out will go Marlon Mahorn. Turner along his own baseline. gets it into Chase, back to Turner. He's going to swing it to Graham. Bluffs on the 3, down the lane, going to give it off to Turner. Dumps it in the post to Chase. The turnaround rattles and it falls through. 29-26. 4:54 left to go. First half of play. Trevecca working it around the perimeter. Now they get the entry to Odura. The turnaround deflected away, and Guans with the steal. Then he lost it, and Salvi puts it back up and in. 31-26. As Turner across midcourt. Gives to Guans, baseline to Brown. Going to try to dump it inside. He does to Chase. Has trouble handling, but he puts it in and he's fouled. Gus Chase to the line to try and complete the three-point play. And again, I think the recipe for success for Georgetown lies in getting touches with Gus Chase.
And it is, and he's Conference Player of the Year. He's getting fired up there right now, getting a little chest bump, getting his guys going, and he made a heck of a catch. I think that Trevecca just caught the ball, and then he used his strong hand just to take it away and then manhandle it up. They just need to take and feed off of the energy that's flowing off of him right now.
Well, he's got a chance to cut it to 2. 8 points now for Gus Chase. 3 of 5 from the floor shooting. And 3 of 3 now from the charity stripe. It is a 2-point game. 4:24 left to go now in the first half of play. As Helton across midcourt. He's guarded by Mahorn. Swings it all the way around. Now going to dump it inside. That's Guans with it. Behind the back. Nifty move in transition. Going to pull it back, and they're going to get a double dribble against Demetrius Guans.
Well, they're going to say he picked it up. I'm not sure if he thought he was going to pick it up or if he really touched it or not.
I don't know. I didn't see it. As Fisher was a lot closer to it than we, but looked like he was just trying to make a nice move through traffic. 4 minutes left to go, first half of play. Elliott with it on a wing to Helton. Works left, now top of the key as he backs up. Chase follows him out, going to pull up for a 3, and he nails it. 34-29. Trevecca continues to make big shot after big shot. 8 points now for Helton. Turner. Deep left corner, Graham. He's going to fire a 3 of his own, and he gives it right back to the Trojans. 34-32, 3:36 left. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. You're listening to Jump TV, brought to you by the Victory Sports Network.
$10. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Trevecca, 63% from the floor early on, 5 of 10 from threes. Everything else really even rather than that. Georgetown's not bad. They're 11 of 22, 3 of 8 on threes, 7 of 7 from the charity stripe. It's helped them out a bit because Trevecca just 1 of 4, and we've got a 3-point game. Elliott works it across. They give it to Odura. He's going to flip it right. Helton drives baseline. Elliott, 3 on the way. That's short. The follow slam by Odura is there.
He went over top of everybody to get that offensive board and had his chest in the goal before he stuffed it through.
Turner baseline to Graham. He's going to work at top of the key. A 4-point lead for Trevecca. Seems as though they answer every Georgetown call. Chase, top of the key jumper is there. Just a step inside the 3-point line. 36-34. James going to dump it to Odura. He has been a huge lift off the bench. to Elliott, down the lane, to the bucket. Nope, will not go. Offensive rebound and the stick back by Marco Salvi.
That's 2 offensive boards Georgetown's given up in a row. Just Trevecca's out working them right now on the glass.
Turner just right of the key. He's going to give to Guans. Dumps into Brown. Baseline to Graham. He's going to penetrate. Back to Brown. 16-footer. Nope. Kling's back iron and the rebound grab Trevecca. 4-point advantage and trying to extend at the 2:22 mark now of the first half of play. Odura out on the floor. Salvi going to give to Elliott. Top of the key to Helton. Bluffs on the 3. Works inside the arc. He's going to give deep left corner. Odura. Now up high to Elliott. His 3 in the air, and it is no good. The rebound grabbed away by Georgetown. As Turner moves in transition. Deep left corner, Guans. His 3 up. Nope, will not go, but the putback by Chase won't go. The follow will, however, by Donovan Brown. 38-36.
A nice second effort that time by Georgetown, keeping it alive that time.
James slowly now for Trevecca, as you can get the sense they want to try and take control of the tempo once again. James going to give it as that Odura moving down the lane. He's fouled, and they're going to get Demetrius Guans with the foul. That's going to send Odura to the line. I think Brian Odura has been a big lift to this team. Coming off the bench, he's got 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 of 5 shooting, only 1 of 3 from the charity stripe, couple of assists. He's played 11 minutes, and he's been the guy that every time Georgetown has done something positive, he's answered right back.
He has, and he's one of those guys that has the athleticism that can come out and match Georgetown's athleticism with his quickness and his leaping ability, and he's took advantage of those opportunities.
Well, he hits the first free throw. Trevecca shooting very nicely today, 59%, 41% on threes. Georgetown just a shot under 50 at 48. Second one, nope, back iron, and the rebound grabbed by Graham and fouled from behind by Trevecca. That's going to be the bonus, and that's going to send David Graham to the charity stripe at Georgetown's end.
Well, and that's a foul that drives the coach crazy there. You're 84, 85 feet away from the basket. You reach in, and it puts him at the line here unguarded for 2 points.
90 seconds left to go in the first half. Coach Sam Harris has to be feeling pretty good about now.
He does. You know, you come out and you only have a short time to prepare for this game, and his players have come out and executed really well. So, yeah, you got to go in the locker room feeling really good about yourselves, but don't get too secure. You got a whole second half to go.
Graham hits the first. He'll get the bonus. I think Georgetown is a team, too, that requires some preparation time. They're very difficult, I think, just to take a cursory look at and come up with an easy game plan.
Well, and they show, just on defense alone, they show you so many different looks. You have to prepare your guys for the different looks they throw at you.
Graham hits his second, although we've not seen that today. We've basically just seen him in man, a few different full court things, but in the half court, just man.
Well, a lot of times they like to save it for the second half because then you don't have time to make adjustments during halftime.
James, he's going to give it to Salvi, back to James. Donovan Brown forces him that way. Now they're going to kick cross court to Harris, to the bucket, off the glass. Nope, and the rebound grabbed away by Mahorn. He's going to give it down the floor to Brown. He gives back on the touch pass to Turner. They'll scramble for it, and out of there comes Trevecca, but an inline violation, actually a travel. They're going to say he was down on his knee and then stood up, and that is indeed a travel.
Well, he's saying that he just bent down to pick it up, but I think he had a knee on it. He needed to be safe that time and just make the pass out.
Coach Sam Harris disagreeing vehemently with the no call at his offensive end the last trip down. Into Mahorn. He's going to drive. Gives to Turner. He'll bring it back out. Sets for the 3. Fire it up. Nope. Back of the rim. And the rebound grabbed by Trevecca. 1 point Trojan advantage. 51 seconds now left to go in this basket, or in this first half of play, we should say, as James trying to get it in Elliott's hands. He's going to back up just right of the midcourt circle. Georgetown staying just close enough to apply pressure to keep the 5 count on. Now the handoff to Elliott, down to 36 seconds, 14 on the shot clock. 1 point Trevecca advantage. Ball deflected into backcourt. He goes to get it. Now he's going to look to spin to the bucket. 5 on the shot clock. Into Harris, out to Salvi, up high now to James. He's going to pull up, fade away from the elbow. That's short. Rebound grabbed, and a foul against Donovan Brown. You know, how many times do you see the ball in the air, the shot clock horn sound, and the defense just stops That time, Elliott continued to go forward. He got the offensive rebound and took advantage of that split second when Georgetown was indecisive.
You're right, and that's a natural reflex that you have. You know, like Pavlov's experiment, you hear the bell. You know, everybody hears the horn go off. Naturally, you stop, and that's a case that if a player is conditioned, if he can play through that, he picks up an offensive rebound and a chance for the putback.
Elliott hit the first one, rolled it in, trying to send the Trojans out to a three-point advantage now, and he does just that. 41-38, 17.7 left. Georgetown likely will hold for the last shot of the first half and will go to the locker room no worse than trailing by 3, it looks like. On a right baseline to Mahorn. 4 seconds left. Going to dump it into Chase. Back to Mahorn. Fires it up. Will not go, and that's the end of the first half of play. 41-38. Trevecca with the 3-point advantage at the break. The #1 seed in trouble. Here in Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, you're listening to the NAI Division I Men's Basketball National Championships.
Wouldn't it be cool to call the game that
10. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Well, 41-38 is our score at the break. Trevecca with a great game plan, executed to perfection in the first half, and they have a 3-point lead over the undefeated top-ranked team in this tournament, the Georgetown College Tigers.
You know, if you're Trevecca, you got to come out and keep mixing up the looks defensively to keep Georgetown off a little bit. It's given some problems. They're having trouble with the matchup zone, and then they've single-covered Chase down low sometimes, and then they've doubled him. Great strategy so far. Then they have to continue to come out and shoot the ball from a high percentage. They're going to need to continue to shoot 55 to 60% from the field to be able to maintain on this lead. Georgetown had to come out with a sense of purpose and a fire and really get up in them defensively this time.
Well, I thought one of the differences was the bench play, as Georgetown got absolutely nothing from their bench, just 5 first-half points, while Trevecca a big lift, 18 points, more than the difference between the two teams, 41-38.
Odor was a big part of that, coming in with his offensive rebounds and his presence inside with his interior post defense. He was a big part of that, and they came in and you know, they didn't lose anything when the bench came in. They just kind of kept the ball rolling.
Georgetown, always a deep team, only played 8 players in the first half. Demetrius Guans came off the bench, had 5. They were led, however, by David Graham's 12 points, Gus Chase 11 points and a rebound. 4 of 7 from the floor, as we are about ready to start the second half of play here in the Buffalo Funds Men's Division I Basketball National Tournament. Trevecca with it. Into Anyando, back to Elliott, and Georgetown. Let's see if they turn up the defensive pressure a bit in the second half. Turner forces him to give it back right now. Is on a wing, stands Helton with it, looks to dump it in the post. Now going to skip it up high as they, looks like they're clearing out the lane, as Helton now going to bounce it down the right side, and it sails out of bounds. Not a good entry pass, and it will be Georgetown basketball.
No, he's really got to get down the foul line, extended on the wing to make that angle on the pass. And that I credit that to the pressure that Georgetown came out and applied from the get-go.
41-38, Trevecca with the lead as the Tigers with it across midcourt, as Jerry Turner going to hand it back up high to Graham. He'll bounce to Chase. Spin, the turn, the shot is there. 41-40.
Well, him and come over here. Him and Brown stack up on this block, and he curls off and makes a nice move.
Elliott working against Turner. Dumps it right wing to Helton, guarded by Guans. Going to use the dribble drive down the left side of the lane. Pitches back to Elliott. Now baseline to Harris, doing Anyando. He's guarded by Brown. The shot, nope, but a foul against Donovan Brown. You know, I think lost in the first half was the fact that basically they held Collins Anyando silent. 2 points and 3 rebounds in 15 minutes.
You're right, and they're still able to maintain the lead that time.
Anyando at the line. That is 3 against Donovan Brown.
Anyando, you know, even though he didn't have a lot of points that time, his physical presence was felt throughout the game. Defensively, especially with his quick leaping ability, he can go up and really get a lot of shots or challenge them.
Well, he had 3 block shots in the first half, along with 3 steals. There you go. That's the defensive end. Anyando's second is good, and it's 42-40. Trevecca eases back in front by 2. 18:50 left in perhaps one of these two teams' seasons, barring overtime. We say that because we have had multiple overtime games already in this tournament. Graham to Taylor. Looks like, are they playing man or are they in a matchup zone?
They're in their matchup zone, and what I like about it is that they'll start off with a stack that distorts the zone.
Graham gives off to Turner down the middle. Pitches back out to Graham. He's going to give up high to Taylor. Penetrates to the middle, off the glass, and he put it in. Nice drive to the bucket, and we're tied at 42.
Well, that's one of those gaps in the zone. He used the dribble to penetrate and get all the way to the rim.
Elliott working against Turner. Just trying to keep the ball in front, applying max pressure as Elliott spins and falls down, and they're going to call Turner for the foul.
Well, Turner really was not hand-checking that time. He was using his feet to play good defense. I think you got to reward a guy when he gets out and he plays with good feet like that.
Elliott Going to walk it across midcourt. Gives left wing. That's Helton. Guans trying to keep him in check. They're going to enter it to Nyando. Baseline on the tip pass. The three in the air. Nope. And Salvi can't control the rebound, and it will go out to the Tigers.
Well, Trevecca got a nice look, and Oyando had a great touch pass. He went up in the air. He saw the post double was going to come and kicked it right back out. Got a good shot in the corner. Trevecca has to knock those open shots down.
That's Jeremy Dixon, excuse me, not Marco Salvi. 17:49 left. Georgetown and Trevecca tied at 42. Taylor with it up high to Graham. He's going to lob it just outside the lane to Chase. Up to Taylor. They swing it around quickly to Turner. His three in the air, and Georgetown leads by 3. 45-42.
Well, Dave, that's how you move the ball. You got the ball inside. They kicked it out, swung it around, and sometimes you got to make that extra pass, and that time it paid off.
Here comes Helton with it. Going to dump it to Nyando. Goes straight to the glass with it. Nope. The Dixon tip will not go, and the ball goes out of bounds back to the Tigers. 45-42. Are you feeling Georgetown gaining the momentum here, ready to make a run?
Well, they come out and they've answered the bell here, and they're ready to go. And Trevecca has to meet their intensity.
And again, Turner being very deliberate. Georgetown very good in their half-court sets. Going to lob it inside. The alley-oop slam by Taylor's there, and he'll go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Well, they started off, whether it's man or zone, they went to an offset stack. 2 guys at the elbow. In the opposite low block, they got 2 guys, and they cleared it out. Now, if it's zone, it just distorts everything, and that set up the back play, the back cut in the back door for the dunk.
So Taylor to the line to try to complete the three-point play. 47-42. And the Tigers making one of their trademark runs. It's good. 48-42. Trevecca just trying to hold on right now. Into Helton. Guarded by Guans as he drives him across midcourt. Georgetown applying pressure the entire length of the floor. Taylor now on him defensively. Is Helton going to give to Elliott? Switches to Taylor. 16:50 left to go in the basketball game. As Elliott looks in the post for Nyando. Being forced out of there by Chase. Now to Harris. He's going to skip it out to Helton. Going to dump it out to Nyando out on the wing. He'll drive to the bucket, spin, kicks it up high. Ball lost out of bounds, and it'll be Georgetown basketball. Trevecca's going to take a timeout, and that's a good one. We'll take one, too. 48-42, Georgetown with the lead and the ball. You're listening to the Buffalo Funds Men's NAI Division I Basketball National Championships.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
The top-seeded Tigers were on the ropes in the first half, but they pulled themselves up and seem to be doing just fine right now. 48-42, 16:35 left to go. Georgetown 33-0 on the year, responding to a strong Trevecca first half with a big run to start the second half. 10-1 out of the locker room. Graham with it right. They stay in the matchup zone, it looks like, as Graham going to dump it to Chase. Just a half step inside the free throw line to Turner. He's going to drive, bounces back out to Taylor, skips it across to Graham, bluffed on the 3. Defenders go flying by, gives it in to Chase, and he lays it in. 50-42, textbook offense.
Well, you know, they're reversing the ball side to side, and on the reversal, then they penetrate into the heart of the defense, draw up the post, and dump it down.
Elliott just left of the key. Moving out on him is Turner. Dribbles back to the right. Now he's going to give it up high to Nyando. Further left side. Gets to Helton. Guarded by Guans. Now they're going to dump it baseline to Nyando. Flips it back out. Harris bluffs on the three. Moves in. Now going to pull it back out. Gives to Elliott down the left side of the lane. Fires it off the glass, and Trevecca has stopped the Georgetown run that had reached 12-1, 50-44.
Well, Georgetown has really figured out this matchup. They've done a nice job of attacking, getting into the middle of this defense.
Georgetown now 55% shooting for the game. Not sure that they've missed a shot in the second half. Turner with it, left key. Now going to dump it to Chase. They're going to bump him out of there, and it will remain Tiger basketball.
Well, that time Oyando trying to be very physical, pushed Gus Chase away from the basket, and you look at Gus Chase, the guy's got tree trunks for legs. That's a difficult task, and if you move him that much, the officials got to know that he's getting pushed in the back.
15-15 left to go. Two good basketball teams here in the NAI tournament second round. Turner looking to work it in. He's going to lob it up high to Graham. Georgetown trying to stop the run of upsets in this tournament, which has now reached 3. 2 unseeded teams and a lower seeded team knocking off a higher seeded team in today's tournament. They kick it out to Graham. Hands off to Chase. Going to skip it deep right corner now to Taylor. Skips it back up high to Guans. Outside the lane to Chase. And an open three straight away from Guans, and he's got it. 53-44. 14:44 now left to go in this basketball game. Brian O'Dour with it. Going to dump it in the post. That's Anyando spinning. He's got it, and he's fouled. And he'll go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Well, Yando's got that quickness. As soon as he caught that ball, he spun and was right up in there before Gus Chase knew what was happening to him.
Well, when you're struggling offensively, you go back to what you do best, and they're going inside to Anyando.
Well, then that's the difference. With Georgetown's figured that out. They've started the inside out the offense. Get it inside. If it's not there, kick it out. And that's a great shot to take. And now Trevecca trying to do the same thing.
Well, he hit the free throw, and it is 53-47. Georgetown's lead cut to 6. So the Tigers handle the basketball. And nearly a turnover. A nice catch by Demetrius Guans with the dribble. Going to drive baseline. Pulls up. Tough 15-footer. No. And Anyando with it. Outlet to Elliott. Down the floor to Helton. He'll stop just beyond the hash. Now going to enter it just off the block to O'Dour. Going to turn face up. Make a move to the bucket. The underneath move will not go. And we're going to get a foul against the Tigers. Delayed whistle. It came well after the shot, and it's going to send O'Dour to the line to shoot 2.
Well, they're going to get Taylor saying that he got a piece of his arm after the shot. Just wasn't as an angle here where I could see that. The official had a good angle underneath the basket there to make the call.
O'Dour, told you what a big lift he was in the first half. 10 points and 3 rebounds currently. A couple of assists and a steal. He's played about 13 minutes. And he misses the free throw. On the season, 63% from the charity stripe. And he's at the line for number 2. He's not shot it well from the line in this tournament. 2 of 6 today. And he misses number 2, and the rebound grabbed away by Chase inside. He's going to hand it back to Turner, and it's a 6-point Tiger advantage. Georgetown with the basketball. 13:54 left to go. Should the Tigers win, they will advance on and play in the next round tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Ball knocked loose. Stolen, and at the other end, slammed through by Brian O'Dour. 53-49, but we're a long way from this one being over. We're locked in a battle between Trevecca and Georgetown as Guans brings it up high. Sticking in the matchup zone. I don't know that they've shown man any in the second half as Graham down the lane. He's going to be fouled, and they're going to get it against Matthew Elliott.
Well, that was Chris Harris digging it out of the post. That's the coach's son. Coach Sam Harris has got to be proud of his son reaching in and getting that steal, creating the transition opportunity on the other side.
4-point Georgetown advantage with the ball underneath their own goal, looking to work it in. Trevecca will zone on the inbounds play. And they work it into Guans. Going to give it to Turner, back to Guans. Bounces to Donovan Brown, who just entered, and he's going to give back to Guans. Out to Graham. He's played well today. Deep left corner, Guans. Just outside the lane to Brown. He's going to spin with the jump hook, and he's got it. Donovan Brown sends the Tigers in front 55-49.
Even got contact on the arm with the jump hook, was still able to finish. Shows you the strength of him inside.
Everson walks it across midcourt, working against Jerry Turner. Going to give it out to Harris. Now they're going to rotate it in on the opposite block, skips it back out to Everson. Bluffs on the three, drives into Odur, going to fire it up, and he got it to go. 55-51. Great ball reversal. Got the defense out of sorts, and they were able to work it right down the middle.
You know, that's the key to good offense, is making the defense change side of the floor, and Trevecca doing a nice job that time.
As Guans to Turner. He's going to work inside the arc, back to Guans. Trevecca hanging close here in the second half. On a wing to Graham. Goes baseline, pulls up, 15-footer. Nope, that's short. Rebound Chase, and he put it back in. We've seen Gus Chase play maybe now 6 or 7 times on the season. I've not seen anybody able to stop him.
No, you know, it takes 2 or 3 guys to get it out of his hands down low.
12 minutes left to go. They dump it outside the lane to Anyando. Turns and faces from 15, going to pull up, and that one skips off the rim. Rebound grabbed away by Guans. And he's going to work it across the floor for the Tigers. 57-51. High post to Chase. He's going to dribble down the middle, fire it up, and he floats it in from 8 feet. No pressure from underneath as Anyando backed off of him.
He did, and he used a good step to get by the defender and just puts it up with such soft touch on the rim.
Helton out on the floor, 8-point Georgetown advantage. Dumps it deep right corner. Now they're going to get it in very quickly, and a foul against Donovan Brown. That's going to send Anyando to the line. I think that's where he needs to be. Last time, the little hesitation move from about 15 or so, but that time they ran him down to the block, dumped it into him, and again, we've seen him play. This is the 4th time we've seen him play this season, and I think he's much more effective inside, closer to the basket than he is from 15, 16 feet.
Well, he is, and the reason being is that he is such a quick leaper that he can get by the defense and get that shot off down low.
So Anyando to the line, where he shoots 62% on the season, 59-51. Trying to chip into that Georgetown advantage. And he hits the first one. Marlon Mahorn going to enter the game. Out is going to go Gus Chase. $11:17 remaining. Anyando number 2. Yep, got it. 59-53.
Well, Trevecca going to pick up a little farther out on the court. 1-3-1, Dave.
Turner to Mahorn. Brings it across midcourt. Gives baseline now to Brown. Skips it across to Guans. He's going to give it back to Mahorn. Bluffs on the 3. Loses the basketball. Trevecca with it on the run. Helton down the right side. Now going to give in the paint to Anyando. Bowls over a defender. No call. Out to Harris. His 3 is good. And it's 59-56. In a 3-point lead by Georgetown. Trevecca on a run. You are listening to the Victory Sports Network on Jump TV.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Well, we've not seen many games in this tournament where both teams have been on offensively. This has been the exception. Trevecca shooting 55% from the floor. Georgetown shooting 56% from the floor. Both teams above 40% on threes. The difference, Georgetown 10 of 10 from the charity stripe. Trevecca just 8 of 15. That's why the Tigers able to hold a 59-56 advantage at this point. It's a Georgetown timeout. Coach Happy Osborne extremely upset with his team's play right prior to that timeout. Turner working with the basketball. Everson moves up to apply some pressure. They swing it around to Graham. He's going to give it off to Turner. Uses the dribble. Now out to Guans. Bluffed on the three. Looks to get it to Chase. Can't quite do it now to Turner. He's going to use the dribble, get deep. 5 on the shot clock in the deep right corner. Mahorn, his three, nope, will not go. Anyando with it. The run out at the other end. Helton the put in, and we've got a 1-point game. 59-58. 10:06 remaining.
Well, the guard penetrated that time. The weak side wing has to recognize that, or the strong side and get back, and no rotation from Georgetown.
Trevecca has answered Georgetown's first swing in this game and fought back to within 1. Graham trying to get rid of it, trapped, gives it up high to Guans. As he'll use the dribble, move to the left, now to Mahorn in the paint to Chase. The turnaround to the bucket, and wow, he somehow gets that ball up and in. 61-58. He has got an array of moves.
He does, and he's so strong. He draws the contact, still able to finish. But Georgetown doing a good job of getting the ball in the short corner down here, then diving to the basket, Gus Chase.
Helton across midcourt. He's going to work left, pull up now from 3, and it's there. We're tied at 61.
And Dave, that was a tough shot. Guans was right in his face, and he knocks down the 3.
They work it into Mahorn. They trap him immediately. He gives back to Turner, who will bring it across midcourt. Right side, Graham. Up high, Turner. Now back right on a wing to Guans. Deep right corner. They're going to find Graham. He's going to go to the bucket. Rejected, but right into Mahorn's hands. He's going to go to the hoop. He's got it, and he's fouled. Marlon Mahorn to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Well, Yondo just really elevated that time, but he made the mistake of sending it out of bounds. He needs to try to tap it to a teammate. Too often, a lot of these guys watch the end one and they knock it out of bounds. That just gives it right back to the team, and that was an example where he knocks it back to a Georgetown player.
And Mahorn a chance now for a three-point play. 57% though from the charity stripe on the year. Salvi into the game. As Anyando going to go out. So Mahorn hits it. 64-61. Tigers back in front by 3 as Everson works at top of the key. Now going to give it baseline. Helton drives into Salvi, who lays it in, and he's fouled. 64-63. Marco Salvi will have a chance at a three-point play.
Well, Dave, we're just having an opportunity to see 2 good teams, well-coached teams come out, and they're just good shooting teams. I mean, they're shooting a high percentage right now, 58% and 55%, but we're talking 2 teams that shot over 52% for the season, and they're putting a show on here today.
I don't think the defense has been bad either as Salvi hits the free throw.
No,
64 piece.
You're exactly right. It's not bad defense. We just got guys that can take and make shots, and the thing is that they can make it when they're contested.
8:39 left to go, barring overtime. In some three-quarters court pressure is Taylor going to finish it across midcourt on the dribble. Left side to Guan's going to dump it to Chase. Off the block. They run at him. He turns, fires, will not go. Rebound, Guan's going to go back up and sticks it in. 66-64. There actually, it went in, but he blew the whistle and say that who touched it was in the cylinder. It was going to count regardless.
Well, Dorr coming over from the weak side to get a piece of that. And this is the most that we've seen Chase Gus get blocked all year, and that's just coming from the weak side.
Helton just inside the hash. Going to give it around left of the key. That's Everson. Going to fire to Helton. His 3 in the air will not go, and Chase with the rebound covers it up. He'll hand it now to Turner, who's got it on the sprint right side. Gives it to Guans, inside to Graham, gets deep, loses the handle on it, and Odor away with it. He just fumbled it away. Helton on the move. It's 2-on-2. Helton decides to take it all the way, won't go. The follow grabbed inside by Odor, pitches back to Everson. Baseline now, thinking about the three. Helton going to give to Salvi a 17-footer, and it settles in, and it's tied at 66.
Well, that's why this Trevecca team is so good. Everybody they put out on the floor can knock down that open jumper.
A high level of basketball being played today in this second round of the NAI National Tournament. Driving to the bucket, Guans back out to Taylor. His three ball, nope. Rebound tipped around, batted, controlled Salvi. They got a run out. James down the floor to Helton to the bucket. The reverse is there. 68-66, and Trevecca back in front.
Beautiful passing. Only one dribble. It was half court, and then he just laid it in. Nice job of ball movement.
Taylor walks it across. Swings it right now to Graham. Turner going to come up, get the basketball, and he'll center it between the circles. Bounces right to Guans. We've got a whistle, and we're going to have a foul inside against Trevecca. They're collapsing on Gus Chase inside. We could have frozen the picture that time. You just seen three guys on every side of Gus Chase.
You're right, and you know, you can't single cover a guy like Gus Chase, and so they're sagging on him, and he's being very patient. Gus Chase is. He's not trying to force it. If they double him, he kicks it back out, but that's their strategy, is to collapse the zone in around on him.
Well, and he's still got 21 points and 4 rebounds today. He's been very effective when he's been able to receive the basketball. Turner tries to dump it down low to Graham. Probably wasn't a good decision. He was kicked out, and it will remain Tiger basketball. They'll work it in from the opposite side of the baseline. Into Taylor. 2-point Trevecca lead. Extended from the baseline to Turner. Back to Taylor. Back to Turner. Up high to Taylor. Reverse it around to Graham. He'll attack. Gonna fire it up. Nope. And the rebound deflected right into Turner's hands. Back to Graham. Baseline to the hoop. Put it in. We're tied at 68. 6:24 left. Timeout on the floor. You're listening to the Victory Sports Network on Jump TV, the Buffalo Funds Men's Division I Basketball National Championship.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
We are locked in a second round NAIA battle. 68 all, 6:24 left. The top seed struggling against the tournament's 16th seed, Trevecca Nazarene University. As James brings it across midcourt. Georgetown plain man swings it right now to Everson. Going to dump it in the post. That's Odor spinning to the bucket. The double clutch. Banked it up. Nope, won't go. Salvi going to kick it back out to James. Lost the handle. Now he's going to penetrate. 15-footer's good. 70-68.
Everybody is knocking it down for Trevecca today. That everybody's brought their A game out.
Both teams well above 50%. And another whistle inside against Trevecca as they are collapsing on Gus Chase. They're just trying to sandwich him in there and prevent him from touching the basketball.
Got Odor in the back of him, DeSelvi in front of him, and they're just, you're right, Dave, they're trying to smash him in between, not let him have any looks or any touches down the stretch here.
That is 4 against Salvi. Or excuse me, no. Not sure who they gave that one to. Taylor going to work it in down low. Spinning back to the middle, Donovan Brown put it up. Nope, won't go. Chase trying to pursue it, can't come up with it, and Salvi with the rebound. He's going to give to Odor. Now gives it back to James. Works just right of the key as Donovan Brown slides back down the lane. James looks for the angle on the entry, gives baseline, knock loose, and Turner steals the basketball. He's going to work it across. 5:17 left. Trevecca leads by 2. They dump it off the block. That's Donovan Brown. Moves back to the middle. The bank is, rims out, rebound grabbed by Brown. He's going to go straight back to the glass. He's got it and he's fouled. What great offensive board work by Donovan Brown.
Well, he wanted that possession that time. He came down, sealed his man, asking for the ball, begging for the ball. When they gave it to him, made a nice move. It rimmed out on him, but he stayed with it for the second chance points.
So 5:06 left to go. Brown at the line to try and break this 70-all deadlock.
Well, right now, Georgetown needs a Donovan Brown to step up for him. If they're going to sandwich and take away Gus Chase, somebody else has to step up, and it could be Donovan Brown down the stretch.
Collins Nyando is getting a bit of a rest. He's going to come back in as Marco Salvi goes out. Also, Matthew Elliott back in as Everson goes out. Brown on the season, not been a great foul shooter, only 65%. First game of the evening session, and it has been a delight as Brown going to take his time, fire it in the air, and Georgetown back in front by a point, 71-70. Tigers pressure. They get it to Nyando. He gives back to Helton, and Trevecca going to work it slowly across the left side of the floor. Up to greet him is Demetrius Goins. Now going to give baseline. Odur flips it around the horn. Helton a baseline 3, and he's got it. 73-71, a 2-point advantage now for Trevecca. Both teams answering with haymakers, and somehow the other team just keeps standing.
Well, if you're Guans, what else can you do? You had a hand up. He hits a fadeaway from the corner.
Inside, Brown slams it through off the pass from Gus Chase. They doubled, made the nice passes. He was able to turn the shoulder and get it to Brown.
Well, he saw the post double coming from the weak side, and it left him wide open.
Tied once again at 73. Down the lane, going to kick baseline, bluffing on the shot. Now to the basket, blocked, and away with it comes James. He's able to keep possession. Out to Elliott, now to Odur. He's going to flip back Helton, an uncontested 3. Nope, and the rebound this time, Guan's got it, and they're on the sprint. He's going to work it just shy of midcourt, picks it up and bounces it across now to Turner. Under 4 minutes remaining. Left to Taylor. Working up high. Gonna reverse it around to Guans. Now back to Turner. Into Brown. He's just gone to war here in the last 2 minutes. Gets it deep. Gonna flip it out to Guans. Bluffs on the 3. He's going to drive, gets baseline, out now to Chase, a 3, will not go, rebound tipped out, Chase to the bucket and put it in. 75-73, what a nice move by Gus Chase.
Well, the shooter always knows where the ball is going to go, and that time he went and got it and put it in.
Elliott going to work it across midcourt, Turner on him defensively, drives him back to his left, dumps it up high to Nyando, the back cut to Helton, nope. Deflected out of there, and Georgetown going to slow it up. The ball, a lead, and 3:05 remaining. Big possession for the Tigers and for Trevecca defensively. They lob it just off the block to Brown. He's going to give it up to Turner. Brown calling for the ball again, but Odur doing a good job forcing it out of there. Now to Turner with it up high. Going to swing it around to Guan. 7 on the shot clock. As Guan's going to bounce back to Turner. Bluffs on the 3. Going to give it to Chase. His 3 in the air, and he settled it in. Wow, what a shot. 78-73.
Gus Chase is putting it in from everywhere. That time he steps out to the corner and knocks it down with a shot clock going down.
Unbelievable. Odur with it up high, left to James. Now they dump it in the post, and a foul against Gus Chase. That's about all he's done wrong today. He has been a load. Again, we've seen him play a lot this year. This is one of the best games we've seen him play.
Absolutely, and he shoots a high percentage, and he does have the capability to step out on the floor like that. He has that in his arsenal. And this year they don't really have the post. They lost a couple guys early on, Georgetown did, and he stepped in and filled that role, but he can play out on the floor too.
You know, and I think you look at the matchup here between he and Nyando. That was something we looked at pregame. He's got 26, and Nyando has 8. The Tigers have done a good job of limiting Nyando's touches. He's only taken 5 shots in the game. And Nyando at the line now for 2 free throws, or actually 1 in the bonus. And he hits the first one, so he will get the second. 78-74, 2:20 remaining. Chase 16 shots, he's hit 11, 26 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. Missed the second, and a whistle, and did we get a lane violation?
Going to call it on Harris, coming in early.
So Trevecca now going to apply some full court pressure with 2:20 remaining.
2-2-1 day.
Guans throws it back to Turner. Got about 2 seconds to beat the time count, and they do to Taylor. Deep right corner now to Graham. Dribbles it back out, gives it up high to Turner. As looks like they're still in the matchup zone. A little surprised they haven't come out of it yet. Off to Guans, right side to Turner. Bluffs on the 3. Now to Guans, left side to Graham. 6 on the shot clock. Out to Guans. Bluffs with the dribble. Going to pull up 17-footer. Yes. 80-74. 1:44 remaining.
That's great offense. Run the shot clock down to the end and make the contested 15-footer.
Elliott baseline. The drive. Going to bring it back out to Harris. He's going to dump it now to Nyando. Going to dribble down the lane. Fires it up. No, will not go. Rebound Guans. He's going to give it out to Turner with 1:26 remaining. A 6-point Tiger advantage. Guan's going to bounce back to Turner, and with Trevecca, just got to be feeling it slip through their hands right now. Such a great effort today, but was against the best team in the nation. #1 ranked Georgetown. Down the lane, Graham going to give it off to Guans. Up high to Turner. 1:05 left. On a wing to Guans. Now they dump it inside to Graham. The double clutch, going to fire it up, and he got it to go. 82-74. What clutch shots in the last 90 seconds for the Tigers.
From 3 different players, Dave.
Helton, deep range 3, and he's got it. 82-77 as the Trojans trying to answer back. What a ball game. 50 ticks left. Timeout on the floor. You're listening to the Buffalo Funds NAI Division I Men's Basketball National Championship.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Georgetown trying to end the string of upsets in this national tournament. 3 in a row, and the Tigers say that's enough, at least for now. 50.5 left, and Georgetown up by 5 trying to work it in. They do, as Graham going to give it up now to Turner. Apparently Trevecca not quite ready to foul yet. Going to throw it down the floor to Graham, and he's going to pull it back out. Flip it now to Taylor, and he's going to be sent to the line to shoot 1 and the bonus with 38.3 remaining.
Well, Trevecca that time willing to take the risk of let him not foul him when come in, then going for the steal. They waited till they got all the way across half court before they fouled. I think from now on, now that you're with 38 seconds, as soon as it comes in, if you don't get the steal immediately, you have to foul and take your chances that they're going to miss.
1 more 1 in the bonus. This is a big one for Taylor, as he is just a 60% foul shooter. 38.3 left. Trevecca has played a near perfect game today and still trails by 5.
You know, and you talk about the things you need for an upset. You got to shoot a high percentage, and they've done that, and it's still not been enough.
Taylor rolls in the free throw. They've shot 56%, 47% on threes, only turned it over 13 times against a very good Georgetown team. Really the only area when they've been clearly beaten is on the backboards, 31-21. Taylor hits them both. 84-77. Elliott going to work it down the floor. Turner tries to keep him in front. Going to drive by, loses the ball, and they're going to get a push and a foul against Turner. 32.6 left. Go through and try and look at some stats right now as Gus Chase, 26 points, 5 rebounds. Graham, 16 and 3. Guan's 12 points, 8 rebounds. 13 and 7 for Brown, and 11 and 2 for Turner, or Taylor, excuse me. For Trevecca, they've been led by Josh Helton's 19 points and 6 assists. Odur, 14 points, 2 rebounds. Elliott, 12 points and 3 rebounds. Collins and Yando really struggling in this game offensively. He was held to 9 points and 5 rebounds, but he's had 4 steals and 4 block shots, so he's contributed in other areas. It's a 7-point game, 32.6 remaining. Matthew Elliott at the line, where he is an 86% foul shooter. He converts, 84-78. Mid-South trying to go 2 for 2 thus far to make it into the Elite 8. University of the Cumberlands will have a chance later tonight. They'll be a heavy underdog against Lee University, but what a showing thus far for the Mid-South Conference.
You know, very, very deep conference, and this is showing the quality of play that goes into the Mid-South.
5-point game, 32.6 left. Into Turner, trying to dribble out of there. He's hung up with it, and they're going to give him a timeout as he went to the ground to try to protect the ball. Shot clock's off. We will step away too. You are listening to the Buffalo Funds Men's Division I Basketball National Championship.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Well, you know, quite frankly, this is the type of effort you expect to see in the national tournament. It's a cliche. You hate to see one of these two teams sent home because both have played extremely well.
You know, they have come out and both teams have shot a great percentage from the floor, but it's not a lack of defense. These are just good offensive players out making their shots today.
Georgetown with it, 28.9 left. Tigers are out of timeouts. As Taylor trying to get it in, throws over the top. It is stolen. Odur with it. He's going to drive down the lane. Got it, and he's fouled. 84-81, a chance to get it to 2 if he can convert. That's the problem of being out of timeouts. He couldn't take the timeout, so he threw it down the floor. Graham couldn't track it down, and that is the 5th foul for Justin Taylor.
And that's one of their primary ball handlers here, especially late in the game when they're applying the pressure. But we talked about when a team's getting up and they're denying you full court like that, then the best way to beat that pressure is go over top of it. You know, get everybody coming forward and then go for the home run. At least have that option to release the pressure. That time Georgetown didn't have it. Had 3 guys coming up for the ball and they were denied. And so he had to throw a risky pass and he intercepted it.
And the problem now, if Trevecca can really get into this thing, Georgetown has no timeouts to take to try and set a play to try and calm themselves down. Odur can cut it to 2 right now with 25.6 left. Number 16 seeded Trevecca Nazarene against the top seed Georgetown, who is currently 33-0. Coach Happy Osborne using that opportunity as a pseudo timeout as Taylor fouled out to talk to his team. Odur's free throw in the air, settles in. 84-82, 2-point game, trying to get it in. They do. Now to Turner. He's going to be bumped to the floor and fouled. And Turner going to go to the line and shoot. This will be 1 and the bonus. It's the last one in the bonus situation for the Tigers. After this, everything will be the double bonus.
What I like Georgetown did that time, as soon as they made the foul shot, then they went and they got the ball and got it in quickly before they had a chance to find their men. A lot of coaches, what they like to do in a situation like that at the foul line is go ahead and get a guy at the scores table to sub in so you can get your defensive set and everybody can find it and you can get a good solid denial that time. And that time they just didn't. Trevecca couldn't find them in time. They're able to get the ball in quick.
And that's 5 against Anyando, so he's gone. It's a 2-point game, 23 seconds left. If Turner misses the first, Trevecca's got a chance to win this game. If he hits one of 2, they can still try and send it to overtime.
Well, this is nothing given here in a pressure situation like this. You know, everything comes down on this free throw shooting, and these young men come out there, and you can feel this. It's not a normal situation. It takes a lot of nerve to step up there and knock these down at the end of the game in a pressure situation.
Well, Turner is 77% from the charity stripe this season. And, you know, regardless, even if he hits both of them, it's a 4-point game. Trevecca, plenty of time. The clock stops on a made basket. So if they can come down and score quickly, they can do this potentially a couple of more times because Trevecca still has 2 timeouts as well.
You're exactly right, Dave. They just have to, you know, be patient and come down and attack the rim on this make or miss.
Georgetown, nobody underneath the rebound. As Turner's free throw, no good. Rebound, Salvi. Trevecca's got a chance to win. As James going to work it across midcourt. He's going to drive down the lane, and he's fouled by Graham. 14.6 seconds remaining. Rick James to the line to try and tie it up, a 73% foul shooter.
You know, when you're growing up as a little kid, you always get out in the backyard and you practice these situations. You're down 2 in the national championship. You got to have them both, and here's that opportunity.
84-82. I could never hit them both in a row. That was my problem. Is James at the line.
Well, that was poor coaching. They should have got it in somebody else's hands.
First one is good. It's a 1-point game. Georgetown led by 7 with 25 seconds left. It's now a point away from being tied with 14 seconds left. In 11 seconds, Trevecca will have made up 7 points.
Yeah, a lot of people may have jinxed them by writing it in on their brackets too soon, but this thing is not over with.
No, it is not. As James fires up the second. Missed it. Rebound Graham. They're going to foul him. 13.4 left. But again, even if he makes them both, Trevecca's got a chance to send this thing to overtime. And what pressure on David Graham now. He's a 73% foul shooter. That last free throw miss was the first miss by Georgetown from the line on the day. They were 14 of 15. Trevecca, on the other hand, 14 of 22. They've really struggled from the charity stripe. And again, no one underneath for Georgetown to try and rebound the miss as David Graham misses it. 13.4 left. Trevecca will have a shot to win this thing.
Well, what you got to understand, Dave, the weight of the world is on these fellas' shoulders, and they're feeling every bit of it.
We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're listening to the Buffalo Funds Men's NAI Division I Basketball National Championship.
Ten. 5, 4, 3.
Live from Municipal Auditorium, this is NAIA Championship Basketball.
Well, the thing you have to do in close games to close it out is hit free throws. Georgetown had done such a remarkable job, had hit 14 in a row in this game before missing their last 2, one of them a front end. They could have had this game salted away. This is to make it a 2-point game. 13.4 left. And he does make it a 2-point game. O'Dour going to get it into Helton. Plenty of time. Down to 11 seconds left. Graham up to guard him as Helton moves to his right. Gonna flip it back left. Odor gonna bluff on the three. Hands back. A three in the air. Elliott, nope, won't go. Rebound Georgetown. 0.6 seconds left, and the top seed will survive. A good look by Matthew Elliott from the top of the key. I don't know that you can ask for a better shot. Got it in the position that he wanted it. No really close on him, and he just didn't make it.
You know, he got it off the dribble, hand back, and got a clean look at it. As a coach, that's all you can ask, and they've made those shots all night. That one just rimmed out for him. But, man, what a great effort by Trevecca Nazarene. Nothing to be ashamed of here. They left it all out on the floor tonight.
Very much so. They acquitted themselves and the Trans-South Conference well, as Georgetown will, I'm sure, be feeling very fortunate to have survived this one as he misses the free throw. They've now missed 3 of their last 4 free throws after hitting 14 in a row. 0.6 seconds left. And he misses it again. And the rebound grabbed, and they gave a timeout. I don't know that you can grab the ball and call a timeout in 0.1 seconds.
I don't either, but I have seen a situation in high school basketball with about a second left, and it was a missed free throw. Everybody thought the game was over. It was a 2-point game. The kid took the miss and threw it the length of the court, and it goes in. Big upset at the time.
You know, the other thing is, I don't know that he had possession of the basketball. He went up and touched it, and it slipped through his hands, and you have to have possession of the basketball to call a timeout. I don't see how they gave him one. I think that's the officiating crew that they were told by Coach Harris, I want a timeout immediately upon the grabbing of the basketball, but he's got to secure it first.
Well, he anticipated him doing that, and he dropped it. And you're exactly right, Dave, but he had already done it and signaled up the timeout.
So it is going to stand nonetheless. 0.5 seconds remaining. 85-83. Now, there was a situation in the SEC championship or semifinal game or quarterfinal, I guess, between UK and Georgia. Kind of the same thing, a little more few seconds left. But Billy Gillespie ran a baseline play where he ran the defender into a stationary offensive player and tried to create the charge. The officials didn't call it. Could we be seeing something similar like that here?
If it were a made basket, you could run that, and I've seen that played run before. This time it's very difficult. Notice how far he's going to scoot back because they're going to put somebody on the ball here most likely. Uh-oh, he's going to do a Rick Pitino here. He's not going to do it.
And the officials having a conference, I'm sure, about what you can do in 0.5 seconds.
Well, definitely not a dribble. It's got to be a catch and almost in the air, turn and shoot.
So Georgetown not going to guard the inbounds man. And Helton going to work it in. 0.5 seconds remaining. To Odor. Lets it fly. It's good if it goes. It does not. 85-83. Georgetown survives today, and that's all they do. But in postseason, it's survive and advance. The Tigers will make it the tournament's top seed to the Elite Eight to face the winner of Point Loma and Robert Morris. What a game. Both teams shoot better than 55% from the floor. The Tigers out-rebound Trevecca 33-23. I think that ends up being the difference in this one. They outscored Trevecca 47-42 in the second half to get the 2-point win. 85-83. Trevecca ends their season with a disappointing loss, but gave a great effort today.
Well, they left it all out on the floor. You know, nobody expected them to play them that close, and they came out and they performed wonderfully, and it was a well-executed game plan.
Well, thanks for listening today. As Georgetown advances, Trevecca, though, a fine season ended tonight by the Tigers. You have been listening to the Victory Sports Network on Jump TV.